Hey everyone, welcome to another Mindset Matters with David. Today, it's always an interesting thing to talk to people who is on analysis paralysis. In case you haven't heard about that word, what that means is overdosing with analysis, or in a sense, overdosing with numbers. So how do you avoid putting yourself into analysis paralysis state? Now, as someone who has actually kind of gone through that to a degree, I mean, I'm a detailed person, but I've learned over the years about how I should step back and focus more on the bigger picture. And I think that's easier said than done. So, which is why I think for those people who are currently in analysis paralysis state, you might not be aware of it, first of all. So, but you'll be starting, over time you actually learn that you're actually going around in circles. You're not getting any outcome that you want. So I know the first thing is you probably want to step back a little bit and then just determine what is the outcome I'm trying to achieve today? What am I trying to get out of this exercise? So it's a very simple example. When you're doing due diligence on a property, you might have a list of criteria which are written on the board. Criteria A, B, C, D, E. You might have 5 criteria. And then you found a property which may have ticked A, B, C, but not D and E. And then you come up with another property, which, it will tick D and E, but not A, B, C. And then you start doing more numbers around how you can work out, you can make property 1 to tick D and E, or how to make property 2 to tick A, B, and C. So all in all, you're trying to do more analysis on the property and think about how I can actually get it working, and is this the right property? Has it ticked everything that I wanted? Think of it this way. Life is not perfect. And therefore, on that basis, the property, you will never find the perfect property as well. So for those people who always goes into analysis paralysis, they either 1, don't know what they really want, which we'll go through as well, or 2, they've gone into way too much detail in terms of what they need in this deal. So let's have a look at number 1 first. You don't know what you want. And that's why, I think it's easy for people, especially when I throw that question to people, they'll say, what do you mean? What do you mean? I know exactly what I want. I wanted to tick A, B, C, D, E. Well, unfortunately, you're not going to find a property that ticks all A, B, C, D, and E. It's a unicorn. Just like the same way that you're not going to be able to get a loan that's got, ridiculously low interest rate with no annual fees on cashback and, offset account, blah, 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 all that. It's called unicorn. You're not going to find it. So, which is why it's important to understand for this purchase, what is most important for you. And that's why a lot of my videos circles around, do you want this to be a cash flow property or do you want it to be a capital growth property? Because you see, most of the time, you probably can get both over time, but initially you can't get both. They're very, very different. If you want a capital growth property, most likely you need to go to a blue chip region or blue chip area. Whereas if you want a cash flow property, then you may have to go a bit further out, which means you may have to sacrifice that little bit of capital growth. So on that basis, that's why if you determine first, do you want this to be a capital growth property or do you want it to be a cash flow property, then your criteria will narrow down. Your criteria might be, having a yield of over 6.5%. Okay, well that's A, that's ticked. And B might be having a capital growth of 5% per annum. Okay, well that may not need, but then again, because this property is capital growth, therefore you don't necessarily need that. So I'll just cross it out. So working through that way, once you've got clarity around what property you want in order to get to the goal and to find that property, you need to go through that process and you need to ask yourself, is the property going to be a cash flow or capital growth property? So overcoming analysis paralysis basically is a a couple of steps. First thing, step back a little bit, ask yourself, what are you trying to achieve? What exactly are the goals? What exactly are the criteria? And then second thing is be clear about which of the criteria that you're going to tick and which of the criteria that you're not going to tick at this point. Okay, so cross out the ones that you don't need. You want to remove the noise. You just want to focus on the crux of what you're trying to get out of this deal. And once you're able to laser beam focus into what you're trying to get, the property will automatically be attracted to you, because you'll only be looking at the property types that you want, the property types that you want to be able to get out of this transaction. Okay, so hopefully that gives everyone a bit of idea on how you should overcome analysis paralysis. Again, if you like this video, please click the like or give us a comment, subscribe to our channel, and if you've got any more questions, you can always contact me on david@lendpower.com.au. Otherwise, I will see you again next time in Mindset Matters with David.